Yo, it's your boy Sopry 706. This is KTSC Ave, episode 224, I think. Maybe? Possibly. Does it really matter? Not really. Myself, Marcus Nichols. Appreciate the support, subscribe to the podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Whenever I feel like uploading the podcast, it will be on those platforms. But check us out on YouTube and TikTok. What's good?
Yeah, big news weekend. A lot of bombshells to say the least. So it should be a great conversation to say the least.
Yes, and this is a great weekend for people to bury stories. This would have been a great weekend for, I don't know, if you were caught doing something bad to put it out because the Diddy verse, the diddler took over everything. Um, the day that Diddy was found not guilty for, I think, believe two of the five charges, there was another case that a interesting development came out. I don't know if you're tracking. A lot of you probably aren't, 'cause you're not deviants like me. You listen to true crime all the time. But there's a gentleman named Brian Koberger, who pled guilty to the murder of stabbing of four Idaho students to avoid the death penalty. That news came out the same day as the Diddy news, right? And I'd listened to a couple episodes of Dateline about it, and it is insane. Like this Diddy shit is crazy, but this is 100 times worse. And it goes back to my point of the best free advice I can give you is number one, lock your doors at night. That whole situation could have been avoided. These people just locked their doors. Number two, if you have a home alarm system, use it, and then also do not give anybody your login code. Like 90% of these datelines list to, those are like the two biggest things. People just don't lock their doors. It's like, oh, this never happens in our community. We're a tight knit group. We're a tight knit community where everybody knows each other, and that's where the serial killers become to chop
It
your heads
never
off in the middle of the night.
it, it never happens until it does.
Yeah, those people pretty much do. I don't know. He met. It's a weird story, but long and the short, he just went into the house with a John Rambo knife and started gutting people. Like
What?
he killed one person, and then I guess he woke somebody up, and then like he was startled when he saw them in the hallway, and then just like killed them too. It's what's up, JJ the Goat? It's
Where
so
was this
wild.
at?
This is in Idaho.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Idaho.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, stuff like this never happens here until it does.
yeah. Small farming community of Moscow in the northern Idaho Panhandle had not had a homicide in about 5 years when Kaylee Donclave, Ethan Chapin, Zaina Canoodle, and Madison Mogan were found dead at a rental home near campus November 13th, 2022. Autopsy showed each of the four victims were stabbed multiple times and had some defensive wounds. RIP to those people. But yeah, man, lock your doors. Like it's lock your doors and maybe keep a pistol in your sock drawer or something like that. Like you gotta fucking be safe though at all times. But outside of that, this Diddy thing, I, I don't have too much to say. Like I didn't think they were gonna get him on the RICO charges. The transportation for prostitution, that was kind of an easy play to make. Even though the people are now arguing like, is that something really the federal government should be going after people for? Probably not. But I think they kind of overplayed their hand with kind of charging him with stuff they probably weren't going to win in the first place. But kind of off of the serious parts, if Marcus wants to get into that in a minute, I kind of want to address that New York City is not a real place,
Mm-mm. Sure
and
isn't.
we live in a simulation, and Aaron Magruder is a prophet. Because why are there people outside of the courtroom twerking, shooting baby oil on each other? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Kings and queens. What are we doing?
Or they said it was a freako and not a Rico. I was like, y'all are crazy, absolutely
You know
crazy
what?
people.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and set. I'm gonna give us some bait as a black community. This could be a controversial take, but I think those are CIA operatives out there
Mm.
to destroy the black community because there's no way a real live black person is gonna go on national television a real life black person that has to pay bills, has a family, has to go out and live everyday life would do that. Like that. Who are these people? Can we get their names? Can we see some ID? I think it's kind of like the outside agitators during like the protests, where
Mm.
it's like, oh yeah, these black people were throwing Molotov cocktails and busting windows when like it was really not them. It was just like either police or again legitimate outside agitators just want to stir shit up so people get hemmed up. So I don't believe those are real people. If you know those
These
people,
are
if you are those people, let me know because if you are a real African American, African black king or queen, you have set the community back 7,000 years with your nonsense. Like, what are we doing?
these are just actors
But
from the UK. They're just trying to get audition tapes out there. They're not real. They're not Americans.
yeah, I can't believe that. They said there were people out there fighting, just like all kinds of just wild stuff. Like, it might have been kind of cool outside of like the seriousness of the charges, but just to kind of be around that, just to see that kind of madness in real life, just be like, yo, this really happened. That's almost kind of a once in a lifetime situation, just because people are weird, man. Like with social media and everybody being a journalist and traditional media, it was just a made for TV circus. And I'm just kind of curious what's going to be next for kind of Sean Combs, aka Diddley the Diddler, and his future, and kind of like his supporters. Like I don't know where he goes from here. I mean, there's still the sentencing portion, which he could get some time. He could get time served. What's up, Rylan Keaton? Appreciate the support. Um, Let me know what you think about the Diddy trial if you're following it. You think he got off? You think it was a fair judgment? All those things. But yeah, it's I don't know. He's 55 years old. This is probably the most one of the most traumatic experiences he's had to live in his life. Um, and kind of his personal business and inside of his bedroom has kind of been exposed to the world. This has been a kind of a worldwide trial. Like I was listening to podcast updates from like BBC. So like it's a worldwide broadcast. All right, Rylan Keaton says I don't think it was very fair. Let me know why you think it wasn't fair. And
I
like
was
fair to
listening to
who?
that same.
Fair to Diddy or fair to the victims or whatnot?
Yeah, I was listening to the same podcast, the BBC one. I felt like they did a good job recapping it. Like at the end of every few days or every couple of weeks, they had actual lawyers on there, people that were at the trial, and it's just like there was a part of me that was, listening. I was hearing a lot of opinions and chatter from people that either weren't there or didn't read any of the documents or weren't, you know, talking to anybody that was actually at the trial. It was just kind of like just people just going off of what they heard or off of what they heard from Twitter or whatever. And it's just like those opinions don't matter, but those opinions seem to be the loudest for this case. And I think that was one of the more annoying parts about the conversation around this case is just the loudest people were the most ill-informed.
I mean that's the world we live in with social media and wanting to get clicks and likes and retweets. I mean, because I mean it's in a society now where like the job market is so bad where people are looking at being a social media influencer as a potential career. Riley Keaton, thanks for the sub. It's you have to have a baby oil fight in Manhattan to get your likes to maybe pay your rent. Like it's one of those things. But Ryland says that he thinks that he did all the stuff and Scott Evans like that. I mean, it, he's a terrible person, but the things that they were trying to charge him with, they couldn't prove. And like to the victims, like it's one of those things where there were just kind of too much gray area, too much contradiction,
Yes.
too
Too
much
much.
room to like. They were saying that like, hey, he's alleging that he was this terrible person, doing these terrible things, yet these people still foster relationships with him, stayed in contact with him, said nice things about him, took his money. God, why does my face look so bright? Jesus Christ. Um,
I think they would have been better off just trying to go after like one singular incident as opposed to just trying to do this whole like this is a big criminal
Rico is
enterprise.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in everybody, because I was listening to it, and I was listening to one of the lawyers explain like how you would get a RICO charge, and it was just like if you work for Diddy's company and he pays you to commit a crime, then that's where the RICO is versus like this is a criminal organization because Diddy is paying you under the guise of working for him to commit a crime, but everybody that they had as witnesses to testify to what they did all got immunity. So you can't charge them either. So it's like what you can't you and I kept hearing this like you can't charge one person with a RICO. It's a multiple person criminal enterprise. One person can't be an enterprise. So once I started to hear that, I was just kind of like at the beginning, I was like, okay, he's probably cooked here. But then it was just like, all right, well that person got immunity, this person got immunity. They're not charging anybody else. Other people are saying the things that they did, the things that they witnessed, and nobody else has been charged. Where's this RICO at?
Side note, Valiant Thor says them glutes got smoked like brisket, slow and slow. 12-hour trauma, power bottom mode fully activated. Cheek Mills, Pastor Jakes, TD
Cheek
Jakes,
Mills?
Will Smith, they got their cheeks busted wide open.
Cheek
Cheeks looking
Mills
like
is
the Grinch.
nasty.
Oh my god, that is a them glutes
And it
not
wasn't
moving
a,
like cheap. Jesus Christ, Thor is
it
going
wasn't
crazy in
it
the chat
wasn't
right
it
now.
wasn't 12 hours either. Like 12 hours
Can
was a
we
light day.
can we talk about that? That
A
is
light day.
okay. Anybody in the chat, anybody listening, let me know this. So I go to the gym, right? I work out, right? I've played sports. I've never worked out for more than an hour, 2 hours, maybe a long practice. I don't know with film like 3 hours, but multiple day freak offs or what uh Royal King, what was it called, Wild
Royal
Kings.
King Knights.
I can't even, my brain can't fathom that much lube, oil, thrusting, pumping, spinning, slapping, gyrating for days, multiple
Days.
days. Think about doing anything for multiple, like even if you're gaming, like there's people who will stream for like 24 hours. Imagine streaming a game for 3 days straight. Like that is
I
that
would
is insane.
lose
That's
my mind.
insane. Like those people who do like ultra marathons. I don't think there's a 3 day marathon. I think you do like 60 hours or whatever, but it's, I don't know, bro. It's insane. And
Like there's not even a point where like you can just pass out and just wake up and get back to it. It's like you have to stay awake the entire time. It's craziness.
I'm
Absolute
barely staying
absolute
away from this
insanity.
podcast. These people are on drug fueled orgies for days. I know we talked about in our group chat like who we want to hear from like post this trial, whether it be Diddy, Cassie, etc. And whether we like it or not, we're gonna get this content as we said before. This is how you kind of generate your income. But I do want to hear. I kind of want to hear more people speak about, and I might even want to see like a reenactment, not like a live one, but just like maybe an episode of Law and Order where they kind of reenact how these freak offs goes. Like how they do crime scenes. Like, hey, the bullet had this angle and it hit the wall, and then the glass cut. I just want to know how this is physically possible. Like this is like world class athlete type stuff. I don't understand.
Days
I
of
would like
time, man.
I would like to see it. I would like
Yo.
to see this strictly for research. Like I don't. There's athletes that get prepared for fights and games by loading up on carbs and Gatorade and electrolytes. Is this like this? It's
So
got to
this
be the same thing.
it's way different. This is a way different level of working out. Like I can't even imagine like how their hips feel, just like nonstop. Like, jeez, dog. And then multiple people coming in and out, and because it's like that you're bringing in fresh people, but you're never getting a chance to recover, and it's just like
So it's
just
kind it's kind of like a Royal Rumble. Like people are just like jumping in and out the ring. Like,
but you're still in it. You haven't been thrown out yet. You were the first
oh
person in
my
the
god.
ring. And now we're on, person number 14, and it's just like, ugh.
I, yeah, man. Like I would love to see like an HBO like an HBO show that it's about Diddy, but it's not Diddy, but we know it's about Diddy. Kind of like how Succession was about the dude at like Fox News, but it wasn't about him, but it was about him and his family. Just so somebody can have I would love to see the artistic vision of somebody creating a freak off and just kind of like really getting the mindset, like the post game, the IVs, like just like I would like to see it. I like them to consult the people that are there, like the Punisher
No,
and all
this
the other people involved. Because
you
my
want it.
brain, I can't understand. I can't wrap my brain around how this is possible. How
You
this is
you
possible.
you want to see this until it's produced by Tyler Perry, because that's what's gonna happen.
That's what I don't want to
That's
see
exactly
because
what's gonna happen.
he's got bigger fish to fry right now. I don't think he should be dabbling into that type of content with the stuff, the allegations against him. So we'll leave it to HBO. Let them get their shit off. But man, I don't know.
I don't think it was a. I don't think it was a very good. They didn't have a good case, in my opinion. Just didn't feel they were going. They went too big. It seems like they just went too big. Like, all right, we're gonna just go for the RICO. That's like the biggest charge that you can get. I heard there was a stat where like the federal government has like a 98% conviction rate on RICOs, and it's just like, why go for that? Why go for that when you're not 98% sure that you're getting conviction? And it looks bad on their part for them to not get that done, and to, I don't want to say waste people's time, but it's just like,
They
you
did.
didn't have
They
enough for
time and
this.
money.
You didn't have enough.
Well,
You didn't have enough for it.
I think one point they were making on the Joe Budden podcast, shout out Joe Budden, um, is that they use it as kind of a scare tactic, and then most of the people that get federal charges can't afford to actually fight the federal government, so they kind of take pleas. So that's why their success rate
Big
is so
bank take a
high.
little bit, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much money Diddy has now, but he was willing to give them $50 million for him to like be at home.
Yeah.
So that the average person doesn't have that type of a financial bankroll to play with.
No.
So, and I think the idea is that people saw the Cassie tape and that was going to kind of sway how people's opinion of him was, but it's interesting these people kind of follow the directions of the court and it's like, hey, he's not on trial for domestic violence. If he was, slam dunk case, but that's not what he was on trial for. And again, with the RICO, it was a little bit overreaching, or the racketeering was a little overreaching. But I get it, man. It's a mental game. It's a mental game. It's the public opinion game. And they say like, oh, the jurors don't read up about this, or you're supposed to be kind of unbiased. But people hear stuff. People have their opinions. It's just how it is. But they did what they had to do, and some people were looking at this as a massive victory, but still a long way to go. I don't think what I think Sean Combs should do is kind of just lay low, appreciate this kind of new outlook on life, this new lease on life, pending his sentencing, and just kind of be a regular human being. Don't be in the spotlight. Leave New York City. Just go hang out with Russell Simmons and Bali, dog. Just
Yeah, none of that. None of that sounds like Sean P. Diddy Combs. I mean, not not be in the public eye, leave New York. Like, I'm more so curious to see who's the first celebrity to wrap their arms around him in public, because like, quiet as it's kept, there isn't. I can't think of a major celebrity, music artist, or anybody, public figure, that came out strongly against him. Like, even post Cassie tape being released, there wasn't a lot of like condemning of Diddy publicly. And now that he's pretty much probably going to get like 2 years
time
or time
served.
served, and he'll be back and about, is it it can't be a thing where he's still powerful in the music industry, right? It can't be that still. It can't he can't still have a bunch of power right now to be able to the only person that spoke out negatively against Diddy, like rap wise, was Eminem. So like does Diddy have the power to like he can't push like okay, Eminem might be a bad example, but like if if a rapper on the level of like JID came out and was like publicly like, no, Diddy's a piece of shit. I don't fuck with him. He needs to go to jail. He's guilty of all that stuff. Is Diddy still powerful enough to be like, all right, JID, your album is not coming out, or it's going to be really hard for your album to come out because we're going to just bury you under whatever lawsuits or sample clearances, or I'm not going to. People aren't going to work with you because of me. Like, does he still have that kind of power? Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
he's been in the industry for what 30 plus years. Who knows? I mean, that could speak to why people haven't really
They
spoken
haven't
too
said
much about
anything.
him. So I mean, to be determined. To be determined. So um, yeah, we'll see.
He gonna be in
We'll see.
someone's church for sure. Someone's mega church.
That could be the move. Like he could change his life around, preach the gospel. You know, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure somebody's loading up the special edition baby oil right now
Oh,
for
jeez.
his return to the streets. It's really the baby oil thing is funny. I was talking to my friend. I was like, "Yo, like we have children. Like I have a baby, and I don't own any baby oil. Like that's crazy.
Wasn't a thing.
That's
I
like
mean, I never used it.
I mean, maybe he should. This could be a branding opportunity. Like if Diddy wants to leave to the Freaky Frog stuff, he should make Diddy oil or Daddy oil or something like that. Like that, I could foresee him doing that because since it's all out there now, you might as well lean into it. Because I don't think you're
Trademark.
getting any like trademark freak offs,
That's what I was gonna
and
say. He's gonna trademark Freak Off and Wild King Nights and all that stuff.
host
I
freak
like.
offs.
I could see Wild King Night being the name of a liquor. Like that's easy.
I don't think nobody's gonna drink
I
that.
don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to drink it, but I could see him doing it, trying it.
I could see that being a brand for like a party or something. I mean, there he could come to Nevada, Vegas. Oh shit. Um, come to Vegas. Some of that stuff is legal in some of these counties up north near Reno. This could be a whole brand. This could. I'm sure there's people that would pay money to be like, hey, I went to an orgy hosted by Puff Daddy. There's people with disposable income that are weird.
Yeah, when you have that kind of money, like that, they'll spend it on experiences that us common folk wouldn't even think about experiencing and doing. And yeah, it's a different world up there, and we'll see. Like I think it's going to be an interesting few years to see how Diddy tries to rebrand himself and change his image and
Well,
who
but he
he's.
also, depending on how strapped he is for cash, he could sell interviews or maybe do one big interview for a chunk of change. We're still trying to figure out who's going to get the first tell all. Like I don't know.
I don't see him
I
going on
was
a
I
press run.
jokingly said Kai Cenat, but that'd be too cliche.
I don't see him going on a press run. I think he does one big interview with someone credible and hopes that's enough. Like he can't go to like I'm gonna do a one on one with Charlemagne the God. Like it can't be that,
That
or you can't go to Vlad
that's
TV or
crazy.
something like that. It can't be though. It can't be anything like that. I can't. He can't go to lip service and talk to Angela Yee.
That song was weak. What song were we talking about, King? Shout out to King Quest. Um,
The goat.
yeah, shout out to the goat. All right, so off the Diddy stuff. Speaking of a wild weekend to release stuff, I was scrolling through TikTok, and you see all kinds of stuff on there. I saw this woman, showing off her wedding ring and her wedding dress, and then the video scrolls to one Deshaun Freaky Man Watson. And the first thing I did was sprinted to the comments. swan dove headfirst into the comments because I'm like, I know, I know that ain't who I think that is in this video. Uh, so apparently he got married to some woman. She looks like a fine lady. The comments were off. They were as off as they could be. And my first thought was, man, that's a strong woman to marry that man. Kind of with the whole like Diddy situation. Like it's a lot going on. A
Out of
lot
all
going
the
on.
people, like I mean, that's I don't want to put it on her like as far as like saying that she's there just for the money, but like what y'all went to some counseling and y'all just got over it. If he was the third string quarterback or if he was the manager at
He kind of
Kroger,
is.
yeah, yeah. With that contract under his belt though,
Oh, okay.
like he's still got that guaranteed, whatever. But like you take the money away from him and you take, the status and he's the assistant manager at Target and he's got those accusations like he's known to be, going to massage parlors and thrusting his dick in people's nah. She's not going for that. And I hope she, has got a therapist on, speed dial because once people realize who she is and who she's married to, things can get really, especially in public. Like, I'm not saying people are gonna do something to her, but people are mean on the internet, and
Well, hence the comments being off.
yeah, there's no reason for anybody to be nice to anybody associated with him based on the things that he is accused of, and the stuff that he did. It's just like, how do you stand? And I guess it's not so much as him doing those things, which was terrible, but it's also he just didn't show any remorse for it either. He just was like, just pretty much denied it, didn't apologize, didn't anything, showed no zero remorse, and just kind of was like, "Fuck it." He tweeted through it basically, like, "Give it a week, something else will happen, and y'all will forget
Yeah,
about this."
kind of the game plan in in this era because usually something does happen. Like,
Well, now it's getting to the point where he's been so bad on the field that now because before when he first got signed, Browns fans were embracing him, championing him, and being like, "Oh, that's my quarterback." These women are lying or whatever. And now they're paying him all this money, and he's been hurt. And when he's not hurt, he's ass. Now it's all right. How do we get rid of him? How do we get off of this contract? How do we get him off of our roster? He's already a problem off the field. Like sports fans are so fickle. It's like they will overlook a lot of like terrible behavior if you can perform on the field. And Deshaun Watson hasn't been performing on the field, so now his off-field issues are a problem again.
yeah, he got married to his longtime girlfriend. Was this Jilly Anais? Guess they've been dating for 6 years. So, I mean, nobody's perfect. Like, kind of with the Diddy thing and Deshaun Watson, we're seeing these people at their lowest of lows, not exonerating them for the things they did, but you know, people can change. Maybe they've been through a lot of stuff. Maybe, like you said, they've had therapy. Maybe this is a thing that will,
Bring them closer together.
it'll be his anchor to get him back right on the field. So God bless that couple. Hashtag Black Love, all that all that stuff.
That helps.
Good for them. Good for them. I had another random conversation while playing Marvel Rivals and getting cooked. So next week, Superman comes out, and I was like, I wonder if Superman is gonna sell out. And we got to talking like we can't remember there's at a time where like movies still kind of sold out. If that makes sense. Like I was thinking back when like Black Panther came out and Infinity War came out, where it's like, hey, if you didn't get your tickets early, you weren't getting to see that movie opening night. And they were kind of like, yeah, they were kind of clowning me because the fact that I would watch the movie at home if they streamed it, which they do pretty quickly. Like Thunderbolts is on streaming now, Sinners is already streaming. um, a bunch of new movies that I feel like just came out, and they're like, yeah, with the streaming era these days, people aren't showing up like that. They said Sinners was kind of packed out when it came out, but just in general, they're saying movie theaters are kind of like not a thing as they were. And for me, I kind of blame the prices of movie theaters, because like for I saw an article for like a family of four. It was like a small Honda car payment to go see a movie, right? And I can understand why people don't want to deal with that. And not only are you paying a gazillion dollars, there's the potential that there's going to be wild ass kids in the movie, wild ass teenagers in the movie, wild ass adults, loud people, annoying people, people that have seen the movie 6 times and want to repeat the words word for word while you're watching the movie. So now I've spent $800 to see a movie that I can't even enjoy.
The
Whether or
seat
not
don't
because,
recline.
yeah,
I
or
had
the
that one time.
spits,
I was pissed.
floors are sticky, you know what I'm saying? The seats are dirty, or, the whole chicken jockey situation. Like, what if that was your first experience? Like, hey, man, this is my first time in America. I'm going to go see this Minecraft movie, and people are throwing chickens and shooting off, throwing flashbangs and grenades at me. Like, what are we doing? So why would I want to spend $800 to do that when I could just wait a couple weeks and stream it for 14.99 in the comfort of my own home with a pause button, no line to the bathroom,
Subtitles.
subtitles. I can adjust the lighting. It
That's a
could be
game.
like,
That's a game changer. That's a game changer.
and they're like, "Oh, you're the reason the theaters." I'm like, "Fam, the theaters are the reason the theaters like this." That and COVID, but they should have
COVID
been.
COVID sped it up.
Yeah,
COVID sped up the process, but like the way that streaming works, and you have streaming services like Disney Plus is pretty much can't well they don't have that for like DC movies, but for Disney Plus it's pretty much cannibalizing Marvel movies, at least the minor ones. Like I think a lot of people are going to go see you know uh, Doomsday and Fantastic Four first weekend, but I feel like there's a lot of people that feel like if they don't see it the first weekend, that they can get by without seeing it until it comes out on streaming. Because we're there was a time where when movies came out in the theater, they were in the theater for like a year at minimum. It's going to be in the theater for a year. That's the only place you can see this at the theater. Like where I lived at, we had like the main like the big it's like the AMC theater. The movie would be there for maybe like you know 8 or 9 months, maybe a year, depending on the quality or anticipation for the movie. But then after that, it would kind of go to like a smaller like mom and pop theater, and it would stay there for maybe like 3 or 4 more months before it came out on DVD or Blu-ray. So it's like now that time is just like it's completely shortened by like 200%, where it's just like, right, if you don't see it the first weekend, if you can, in the way social media is now, it's a lot of people aren't on Twitter as much. uh People aren't, it just doesn't seem like the conversations that we used to have about certain cultural events outside of sporting events aren't happening on social media. Like I didn't see, which one did I not see? I don't think I saw Captain America 4, or it might have been in Thunderbolts, one of those two. I didn't see opening weekend, but I'm not on Twitter as much, so I know I didn't see a conversation there. I didn't see one on Blue Sky. I didn't see one on Instagram. I see a couple of like reviews on YouTube, but they don't really spoil anything, so I'm good there. But like there was a moment where when Black Panther came out, it was a conversation. Like I guess the last cultural moment might have been Sinners, where everybody seemed to be talking about it at the time. But like for a movie like Superman, no chance it sells out, zero chance, and it comes out next week. It'll be on the HBO Max by the end of the summer, by the end of this year, guaranteed that it'll be out. It'll be on streaming by the end of the year. It'll be lucky to be in theaters at the end of the summer. And I'm not saying, like I said, I think the movie's going to be good. I want to see it. I'm excited for it. I like James Gunn. I think he does a great job. I just don't think people value like it takes a lot to go out to the theater nowadays. It takes a lot, and
It does.
the
If it's
TVs, the way
shooting and
TVs,
shit, I'm good.
yeah, man, it's like the way TVs are made. You can get a really really good TV for like $300. You know what I'm saying? You watch two good movies at the house. It pretty much pays for the same cost of a movie theater. Gas prices are up, popcorn prices are up, drink prices are up. You, we can we can do so much at home. A lot of people do not like leave. I'm one of those people. I don't like to leave the house. It's got to be a major thing for me to be like, all right, okay, let's go out and do something. I don't like to leave. I can do everything here. I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to. And I used to be a big movie person. I used to be one of them people like I want to be at the movie before the preview starts so I can see all the previews. I used to be one of them people. Now it's just like, I miss Captain America for the first weekend. And obviously things are a little bit different being, married with kids and stuff, but it's like, do I want to wait? Do I want to try to see if their grandma can watch them? And what time are we going to go see it? Are we going to eat before or after? We got to, drive all the way over there. It's like, man, it's just a
Yeah.
whole thing. Like it's just COVID, man. I like we watched a lot of movies at home when they would have been in theaters, and we got to see them on demand that day, and it's just like this should be a thing. I don't know why it's not a thing. I don't know. I don't know why movie theaters are still open. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why people would go to it. I guess maybe for the communal experience, like the I don't know what it was like in your theater, but I know when I went to see Infinity War for the first time, like the theater was like you can't recreate that feeling at home or the feeling of Endgame. You can't recreate that at home. But like I don't expect Superman to be like that. I don't expect the next Christopher Nolan movie to be like that, where it's like a big crowd interaction type of deal.
I mean, the DC has the chance to build towards that, but they kind of have to. I don't think they have to knock it out the park because if we're being, I think it just doesn't have to be bad,
Depends on what you mean by
right?
knock it out the park, right? My
Because
view of knock it out the park is just like
because with
be
Endgame, that was I mean, Infinity War, that was a long time build up. Like
yeah.
they can restore that type of feeling if they do these right and build piece by piece and have a consistent, tied together story. But I guess that's fair. I don't. People still like, oh, we like the experience of going to the movie. Like, I don't know what's great about that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch, but it's just like
But it's not the
that's
same
not
as
fun.
like when you were younger, you could go to the mall for a little bit. Like you could walk around the mall for like an hour, maybe eat, and then go to the movies. Like that was a thing. Yeah, like I'm not doing that. Who goes to the mall? Like Amazon is killing the mall. Netflix killed Blockbuster. Streaming is killing the movie theater. Like a lot of these things are gonna become antiquated. It's gonna be a thing where we're gonna tell our kids like, yeah, we used to go and like before you couldn't buy your own seats. Like I remember you had to buy a ticket and hope that the good seats were available. You couldn't pick an assigned seat, and you had to hope no one sat next to you. And if there were no other seats available, that those people were sitting next to you, and you just had to deal with it. And there was nothing you could do about it. I just I don't know what the maybe I could research or whatever, but I don't see what the the movie studios, what do they gain from putting their movie in the movie theater as opposed to putting it on streaming, outside of someone like Tom Cruise or Christopher Nolan, who's like, my movies are specifically made for the big screen, where they're shooting it in 4K with 4K cameras, and Tom Cruise is doing these IMAX filmed stunts. Like I get that, but like someone that did, if you're doing the Barbie movie, which I'm not shitting on the Barbie movie, it's a great movie, but do I need to see that on the big screen? Do I need to see Parasite on the big screen? Do I need to see Moonlight on the big screen? Like, if these movies are great, why would I need to put it out in theaters? Like, what as a movie
Send it to my
studio,
house.
what do I gain
It,
from that? Like, that's what I want to
it's
know. Why did
it's
they
almost
do it?
like good TV shows, right? Like there's no more. I'm sure there is, but there's no like must see cable TV. Like I'm sure some of these shows they put out are good enough to be like, hey, every Tuesday 7 p.m. come watch our great TV show. But why go through all that when I could just do direct to consumer? They'll create the conversation. If they want to binge watch it, they can. If not, they will watch it as it comes on. And that's that. You're essentially cutting out the middleman for experience that is highly overrated. Like maybe back when the movie theaters originated, I don't know, maybe back in the 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, where there was nothing else to do, where going
Hmm.
to the movies was like a truly an experience. Like, bro, I have an Xbox and a PlayStation 5. I don't need to go. I can entertain myself in multiple ways outside of going into a movie theater. Right? It's just not. I think it's an outdated, antiquated experience that people are kind of holding on to. That turn the movie theaters to a park, bro. Like we need more affordable housing. Get these things
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm
or
looking at.
or or let people rent them. Like let me do some ignorant shit like Scream Kill a Season or something like that. Like just some shit. Let me put what I want to watch in the thing and watch the shit. Just be creative with it, man. Like shout out to
I
Kill a
mean,
Season.
I'm looking at the movies that are in theaters now. Like Jurassic Park just came out with a movie. The F1 movie. How to
My
Train Your
homegirl saw
Dragon.
it. They said the F1 movie is good, but that's also it's an Apple TV movie, so it's gonna be on Apple TV probably tomorrow.
That's why I haven't seen it. I'm like, that'll be on Apple TV next weekend. But like, there's a Megan 2.0, Elio, 28 years later, Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, Ballerina, like Karate Kids, Sinners is still in theaters, Thunderbolts is still in theaters. Put it well. I mean, but it's just like I'm not saying any of those movies are bad, but none of those movies are just like everybody's been talking about it and they need to get out to the theater and go see it. And like you said, it's not the olden times where it was like, 1950, you had to go outside and crank your car up, and the milkman was dropping off a quart of milk at your front door and you had, worked on the farm all day and had nothing else to do. Like niggas is going to work. They're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, they're on YouTube, they're on the Xbox, they're on Twitch, they're on there's so many other things to do outside of leaving your. There's so many because I don't want to make it seem like these are the greatest, most um, lavishing and great experiences that you can do. But there are a million time consuming things you could do at home before you get up and go to the movie theater. There's a million of them, and movie theaters have to compete with that, and they're losing. And right now, they're just dying a slow death. And what's his name? uh like Martin Scorsese, when there was a moment he was running around talking about like Marvel movies aren't real film. He was doing like there's movies and then there's film. Like my movies are films, and then what Marvel is doing, what comic book movies are, is just it's beneath what a film is, and it's like, dog, without Marvel movies, without DC movies, movie theaters would be dead empty. Like Marvel movies or superhero movies are like Drake, or it's like college football at your college, like Alabama. And Alabama funds your basketball team. It funds your lacrosse team. It funds your swimming team. Marvel keeps the theater open so you can put your little indie films in there. Because without the success of something like Thunderbolts or Captain America 4 financially, Sinners probably doesn't make it into theaters because theaters aren't open, because they're closed down, because no one's going to them. So it's just like, yeah, at some point, some of these people gotta, bow down and kiss the ring of these superhero movies because they're keeping the theater. Well, superhero movies and Tom Cruise, he's doing it too.
Yeah, like they, my friends always mess me because they're like, "Oh, did you see this movie?" I'm like, "No." literally the only movies that I go that are appointment watching at theaters are Marvel movies. Like I don't go see any other movies at the theaters. So I'm that's it's true. Like there's a lot of people that's where they want to see those movies, and I know that the general public, as far as Marvel fans, MCU fans, have kind of fallen off. But if Fantastic Four, there's a lot of pressure on that movie to kind of
as there should
restore
be,
the feeling. Yeah,
and it better, it
I thought
better.
Thunderbolts was really good, considering they lost a lot of money. But I thought it was a good movie. But
Can we can we admit the whole asterisk thing? That was dumb, right?
no, I thought that was kind of
That was
cool.
dumb. No,
I thought it
it's
was
no.
cool
No one has
because it
called
was
it
a
the New Avengers. No one's called it that. They call it. We keep calling it Thunderbolts. It didn't work.
yeah, but I think that's part of the I don't know. 'Cause it's kind of like with rap albums. It's kind of like with rap albums, right? Kind of with like Port of Miami 2, or how Ghostface is making a like Supreme Clientele 2. It put too much pressure if you call that movie the New Avengers. Too much pressure. The Thunderbolts, they kind of tie it into the story with the kind of little joke, and at the end with the reveal. I'm like,
I'm talking about
I thought it was creative.
in the movie. Fine. I'm talking about the marketing outside of that, where they went
But
around
at
like
that
making everything the New Avengers, and it's like it's everything's back to the Thunderbolts now. It's back. It's they didn't stick with it. It was like for a week, and then they just went. Like I thought it would have been. I thought it was cool in the movie to say like for um uh the Seinfeld. I don't know why I keep calling it that Seinfeld lady to be like, yeah, these are the new Avengers. Like that's what we're gonna call them marketing wise. But then in real life, to be like, oh, we're take a rated asterisk. They're now the new Avengers. Like that was. I thought that was doing too much. It
I
didn't
think it was
work.
creative. I just don't think it didn't work, which is fine. But
I
maybe one or two more better cameos to get that to kind of pop off, or but whatever. Ryan, what's your favorite Marvel movie, and what do you think is gonna be? Do you think the Fantastic Four is gonna be good? It better be good. That's all I can say about that. Um, Actually, R.I.P. the dude that played Doctor Doom and the original, not the original, but the first iteration of Marvel movies, he passed away. Um, Better known from me from Nip Tuck.
yes, that's where I knew him from.
Let's see, Julian McMahon. He's Australian. Yeah, shout out to
Really?
him. R.I.P.
Hmm.
Yes, Nip Tuck is a great show. If you've never seen it, it's one of the wildest shows I've ever
That was
seen.
show was insane.
FX was on some shit
They had a
early.
little. They had a nice run. Like if you go back and kind of look at the TV shows they put on at that time, like back to back, I was like, what? I'm telling you, if FX was putting out those shows, and instead of if you put all those FX shows and put them on HBO, we're having a totally different conversation about how prestige HBO is. Like we're talking like HBO is the greatest
Yeah,
channel of all time.
yes.
Well, okay,
Because there's a bunch of
just look at
shows.
the stuff FX did.
But there's a bunch of stuff that there's a lot of older HBO shows that people never watched. Like the one show I watched, 6 Feet Under. That's a great show, but nobody's seen it because it's old as fuck. But it's a great show, and they was doing some wild shit on that show too for the time period.
I feel like
It
if you
was
take all
HBO,
the
but still.
well, I guess it would be a conversation about does FX have a show that's as good as The Sopranos? Like that's probably the greatest HBO show in most people's opinions. I think
There's a lot
consensus
of good
wise.
there's a lot of good FX shows. A lot that I haven't seen. I started watching one show, the Russian or the Americans. It was pretty good. I never finished it,
They
but it
said
was
American
fine.
Horror Story is great too.
It don't look like my bag, but I might
It's not my bag. I don't watch
check
that kind of
check
stuff,
it out.
but
I'm good on that.
it's high end stuff. But I guess it's one of those things. If we were to do like a TV draft, like obviously like Sopranos, Sex in the City, and Game of Thrones are high picks, but then the next picks it might be all FX shows, well, like Nip Tuck and Shield.
But
If you, I'd have
well,
to look it up. I can't go off the top of my head, but
you still got Eastbound and Down, which is hilarious.
yeah,
Righteous
that's up
Gemstones is
there.
hilarious. They said teachers or principals was funny. I need to go back and watch that.
Principals was okay. It was
There,
okay. It was only like two
there's a
seasons,
bunch
so
of shows. I mean, you got for what it's worth, True Blood for the first 3 or 4 seasons. Um,
True Blood was FX.
no,
That was
it's
HBO.
on
What?
HBO.
That was HBO. True Blood was.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems more like an FX show.
Again, it was elite television for like 3 seasons, and they went off the rails. They're on some bullshit. I'm still disgusted at whatever. Anyways, moving on. I don't care about that much. Um, I'm gonna get in my anime bag. I've been spamming the group chat about the One Piece night at the Dodger Stadium.
Jesus Christ.
And this is the impact of the greatness of One Piece. Hashtag watch One Piece. Hashtag read One Piece. I took a little break. I need to get back on it. I think I'm on at chapter like 800, but they're at like 1100 right now, so I'm very far behind.
Of
But it's a
course.
test. It's a testament to how the longevity of that show, where you have an entire baseball stadium. Now, a lot of those people were like scalpers trying to buy the merch and stuff like that. But they did that for the Lakers too. They had a One Piece Lakers night. It, to me, watching this other anime the other night, it just makes me think like America does not do animation or cartoons well. Because like I know that you have your legacy American cartoons like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, but that's not cool. That's not fly. Nobody's excited to go to Mickey Mouse night at the fucking Dodgers game. You know what I'm saying? Like who gives a fuck? But you throw some One Piece, or if they had like a Demon Slayer night, like it's packed in there. Shout out to you, Riley. Appreciate you tapping in. Thanks for giving us love on the podcast. You a real one. Salute. Enjoy your night. But
Did
yeah,
you
I just
watch?
I forgot I bought a One Piece Lakers shirt. It might be fake, but that's just fire. I need to
Sounds
rep the
fake as
shit.
shit.
I got it from eBay.
Yeah, that's just hella fake.
It looks good though. I need to pull that shit out. I should have wore that to Jamaica. That's crazy. But yeah, man, just the greatness of Japanese animation. Now, every time I think about it, I'm like, damn, they do be kind of using slave labor to get that greatness, but we use our slave labor for like produce. So I guess we just
Give and take.
have different priorities.
They're like, you
So
gonna get
yeah.
this anime out here. We're gonna tell these stories.
So
The,
I was go ahead.
well, I was gonna say the thing that kind of frustrates me about anime, at least the stuff that I watch. I guess it's not you. It's almost like a word of mouth when something when a new season of it comes out. Like I watched.
You just gotta
Well,
follow along.
just for this particular show, I guess because it's new, Dan to Dan. I watched the first season of that and I really enjoyed it. And I watched all the episodes like pretty much, I think in like a week. And then I found out, I think yesterday, that they put out a new season of it on Netflix. And I was like, oh shit! And then it turns out they're dragging it out. It's a weekly like episodic. They're doing it once a week. So now I'm just like, I'm just gonna wait until all the episodes come out and just watch it like that, like I watched it before. But I don't know. I just feel like it's
Or you could just read it.
niggas don't read. Well, I mean,
Well, there you
it's
have
just
it.
like I think with Netflix, I just feel like they do a bad job of advertising some of the good stuff that they have on that streaming service. Like they spend a lot of time advertising like The Office and whatever Rock movie that he's doing that year, or Kevin Hart movie, or Tyler Perry, and it's just like there's way you have to like. I hate how Netflix is like they got a lot of great stuff on there, but you have to really look to find it. And it's they kind. I don't want to say they bury some of their stuff, but Dan to Dan should have been on the homepage for me when I opened up Netflix. It should have been one because I watched the season before. Maybe I should have just left it on my list, but I feel like they got to do a better job of promoting their good shows.
So one thing that I was talking about Barber about today with One Piece. So there is a live speech on Netflix. There's a live action One Piece on Netflix, which I'm never gonna watch. That shit looks fucking terrible. But I did see a TikTok that I'm gonna talk about a while ago. They made a great point. So like in the One Piece storyline, like in the manga, the anime, only like no more than like 3 years have passed in like the actual telling of the story, right? But with the live action show, from season one, to season two. Season two's not coming out until like 2027 or something like that, or 2026. So it's
God
gonna be three years from season one to season two. This show has it is at like 11, chapter 11,086 right now. So at the
damn.
rate that they're trying to do this live action One Piece, it's they're never gonna finish it. By the time they finish it, all the characters have aged out because they're like supposed to be kids. Like there is a minor time skip at one point, but like you can't space this out in these increments. But there's not enough time to do live action for that show that they have 11,000 chapters. Like I to me just doing that was a money grab and it was a terrible idea. Cuz like there's the amount of CGI, the amount of bad CGI they're probably about to get to kind of tell these stories is going to be diabolical. And you can't skip anything because like it's a long story, but the story One Piece is extremely long. I'll give you that. People make the argument that they don't want to watch it for that one point. But one thing I'll give them credit for is they are great on building upon stories and characters. Like almost every character is important, even if they're not, because the story is so long. You can pull a character. This show has been on for like 20 years. You could pull a character from 6 years ago and then reintegrate them in the story, and it matters because hey, we can tie this back to the story that happened 200 chapters ago. They're really good with that. For a live action TV show, you cannot do that, and they can't. You
Yeah.
can't skip anything. The stories are too. Everything is too intertwined for you to skip anything. So I don't know how this is gonna work with Netflix. I don't know if we can do some weird shit like, hey, for the next season, we're gonna get a new actor to play this character and a new actor. Like it's just stupid, and that to me is why anime is the best storytelling medium because you have to worry about that problem. If you want to tell 1,000 chapter story, you can, because you have to worry about people getting old. And even if the voice actors like die or retire, guess what? You get another one. Sound just the same. You'll never tell. And you can
My
tell the
thing,
story that you want to tell without having to rush it or do anything crazy.
my thing is I like finality. I like for there to be an ending, and I feel like once you get
It's
to
it's getting close.
chapter 1,000, it's like,
It's
all
getting
right,
close.
like
It's
how long
gonna
are we
end.
gonna? Yeah, okay, we're getting
But
close. He's about like I'm halfway through my vision. It was like, oh my god, dog. Like let's because
see,
I go back and forth about this on with like Marvel and stuff. Where I want them to do a hard reboot where it's just like, hey, we're done with this iteration of like main character storylines. We're gonna break it off and we're going to start over. Like we're not gonna start over with like Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. We're not gonna do that. But I want to see a new universe where I can see an Iron Man character, Steve Rogers, T'Challa, like uh, uh, Black Widow. I'm not saying we got to tell those stories in order, but I want to see a world where the X-Men interact with the Avengers. And I don't want it to just be a continuation to where it's just like, all right, we're going to introduce the X-Men, but the X-Men will never interact with Steve Rogers, or Spider-Man will never interact with Tony Stark again. And I don't want it to just keep going and they just keep trying to just put pieces together and just try to keep building the bridge while they're on it. Like just start it over. Just start it over. Bring because now they have outside of Spider-Man, they own all the rights to all the characters again. Just start it over and put everybody in there. Now we can start out with you have all the X-Men available to you. You have all the Avengers available to you. You have the formula. Just start over.
again, the thing that makes that tough, and that's why that idea would be better made for an anime because you can tell the entire story. You could literally just go frame by frame from the great comics instead of having to pull a piece from this one. We're gonna remix this story, and oh, we're gonna use the title of this great comic series, but the story is gonna be completely different. Like that, it's just
Well, that's for
with
people that read
live
the
action.
comic
You have
books. These
no,
movies ain't for comic book
no,
readers.
but it's the same concept though. Like you can get a better product if you tell the good stories, and it's hard to tell the good stories without telling the stories how they are. And there's so many versions of MCU characters and stories where it's kind of hard to string together something that is cohesive. Like you can hard restart, but like what direction are we going? Because now it's kind of makes sense because you have 80 different Spider-Man stories, 1,000 different X-Men stories. As far as finality, well, pick one. but it might not weave together the best if you take elements from this and that or whatever. So it's a tough ask. Like I honestly want to even hard stop and start over. But as we wrap, I did see. So one thing I like to do with anime, because a lot of anime, like you said, is word of mouth, and it's kind of like a hype beast thing. Like Dan to Dan was like the new hyped up thing. Like I saw the manga, I read like the first chapter. I'm like, it's cool. Um,
How do
so
you
I
even
saw
how do you even find that? You just randomly just pick it
I
up and
no, I follow a lot of. I
it's
have like
recommended
anime
to
in
you.
my algorithm. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, or people will talk about it or whatever.
Okay.
Um, but what I'll do now, one thing I like doing now is like if I see like a TikTok about like, hey, these are my top 5 favorite animes that I've never heard of, I'll just watch it. And what I try to do is not look at the description because I don't want to know what it's about. I was watching real time and see if I like it or not. So there's one I started watching. It was actually pretty interesting. I took a break on that one too, but I saw one yesterday and somebody was like, yeah, it got like a 9 out of 10 for the first episode. I'm like, you know what? Let me check it out. I want you to do this too. I want you to watch it without reading the title, but
Without reading the title?
no, without reading the description.
Oh.
And I don't even like that they did this, but they had to, which I think kind of gives away some of the plot. But there's a fuck. Well, if you watch it, they're gonna kind of there's a suicide warning at the beginning saying, "Hey,
Trigger
if you
warning.
need help." Yes, there's a trigger warning at the very beginning. I'm like, damn, I wish
Uh-oh.
they didn't put there because it kind of tells me where something could go. But it's really good. It's they hold on.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on Crunchyroll.
Ah, good old Crunchyroll.
It's got a 2 episodes, 4.9 rating, almost 9,000 reviews. It is called Togepi's Original Sin.
I don't think I've watched I don't think I've watched trailers for animes. I don't think I've ever watched a trailer for an anime. Like the most I'll do is I'll read the description, but I
I
don't
don't
think
even
I've
want
ever
to do that.
watched it.
I just like let me y'all say it's good. Let me find out. You got 20 minutes. I'm gonna
Yeah,
see if I like in the first episode. If I don't, then
that's why I tapped out
bye.
on what's it? I tapped out on One Piece. I gave that show 20 minutes. I was like, cut this shit off. What is this?
Nah,
The first
again
20 minutes
because
for ass.
well because the shit came out 20 years ago, so the
And I
animation in the first
and I
couple
had
of
to
seasons is kind of bad.
and I had
If you
to
see what it
fight.
looks like, if you see what it looks like then to now, you're like, oh, it's fire.
I
It's
had
really good.
to I had to
Great.
fight through. I had to fight through them first episodes of fucking Berserker, man, because them shits was ass too. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Berserk is fire.
That shit was so
It's Game
bad.
of Thrones. That's
It's
Game of
not.
Thrones.
It's so bad.
That's pretty much what it
It's
is.
uninteresting. It's not interesting at all.
Hey
And
man,
I get that show a way longer leash than I normally do with anime. It's like animes, I have a pretty short leash with them, and I was like, I'm gonna keep
Berserk is another
trying.
one. Again, the only reason I watched Berserk is because they were like, I kept seeing these lists of like the worst villains in like anime history, and they kept showing one of the dudes in that show. I'm like, all right, let me see if they were correct. You need to
Yeah,
watch the last. Just scroll to the last episode of Berserk.
I might do that. It might be
You
worth
could.
it. It's only
It's
eight. It's like because it's on YouTube. It's only like 8 hours.
yeah. It's on. It's on. Is it on Netflix? I don't think. I
I
bought the
couldn't find it.
DVD set, but
I've,
yeah,
I've only seen it on YouTube.
I watched it on YouTube originally when I bought it. But yeah, the last episode is diabolical. That's what I will say. It's it's
I might
upsetting
try to.
enough.
I might scroll up a little bit just to see if I can follow it and be like, all right, let me see if I can get the gist of what we've done so far, and if I can see that, then I might just start at like the third to last episode and just run it through there.
Yeah, man, it's a lot going on. But yeah, check out Tokupi's Original Sin. I might do a TikTok video on it. It's the first episode was interesting, and I kind of thought I know what was going on. Like I thought I knew what the premise of the show was. But then the second episode hits, I'm like, oh, they're doing something different, and I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know.
Oh no.
of the second episode is crazy. I'm like, all right, because like you'll watch like the opening theme, you're like, oh, this doesn't seem like what I think this is gonna be. They do a great balance of like kind of a dark theme show with like happiness. It's great. I'm locked in. I'm locked in. But anywho, I'm locked out. Podcast is ran over an hour. It's late. Um, but I think that's all I got. I am. Oh well, I will do a quick song of the week since we haven't done that in ages. My song of the week is Lupe Fiasco Samurai Remix. He's coming out with a deluxe album in a couple weeks. I'm excited for that. Great song. It's featuring a gentleman named Troy Tyler. And oh shit, another topic for another day is like what happened to remixes? Like we just don't do remixes no more. Like it's just remixes do not exist in the year of our Lord 2025. Like it's just like, and if they do a remix, it's like a deluxe remix where it's the same song, same beat. We're gonna add another verse with some other
Yes,
rapper.
some random rapper that needs to
No
get hot just throws
creativity.
a yeah. It's like all right. My
It, and
song of
it
the week. Or go ahead.
and it took me a minute, but he did the same. He rapped the same verse, but it sounded different. Like he rapped it different. The beat is different. He has like a different breakdown at the end. It's fire, but it's the same thing, but it's so creative. And like we don't do that anymore. Like for example, like why didn't we get like a Nokia remix? Like I'm pretty sure they could have used more time for that song to be a hit. Like hey, get with another hot artist, do a remix, change the beat again, do something interesting and fun with the music. It's just like oh Nokia, nobody cares a week later. Nokia remix featuring Big X I don't know. Just do something.
Big
Do
X the Flow
something.
would be
Do
hilarious.
do something, please. Help us. Do something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then there's artists like Leon Thomas, who does a remix to the same song 5 times. Um, my
What's
song of
wrong
the
with
week,
them?
yeah, song of the week is from an album called LK99, The Prelude by Levin Kaylee. And it's called Are You Still? It kind of reminds me of Miguel. It's really cool little vibe if you're into that kind of stuff. But I like it. I mean, yeah, it's good. I kind of wish Leon Thomas would have put all the features on Mutt into just one long remix. Just put
Yeah,
them all on
honestly.
one song. I don't need 4 songs. Put them all on on the same song.
I did see that Jid dropped a Prelux.
Yeah,
That's the
listen,
first
that's
I've
pretty
ever heard
good.
of that. I've never heard of a Prelux. I've heard of a Deluxe, but you know that's a creative way. I didn't listen to it yet, but I might tap in. But I am excited for God Does Like Ugly. I got it pre-saved, so I think that comes out the next. That comes out soon. This drop.
I think I'll be excited
Comes
when
out
I
comes out
actually
August
see
8th.
it.
August 8th.
When I see it, I'll be excited. But I'm not excited for it now the way I'm excited for clips. Like rollouts matter, and a lot of people don't do that. So
Shout out to the clips. All right, appreciate y'all tapping in, like, subscribe, all the fun things. We out. Peace.
great Southern rap group.